Welcome to another 31 days of Halloween, and we have a treat for you. We know that you love Scream. Our channel's big on Scream. Our special guest is big on Scream. Our co-host is big on Scream, and we're going to dive into something that I haven't seen out there that much, and that is our 5 least favorite Ghostface killers. And the guest host with me today is Mr. Danny V himself.
What is going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. What's up, everybody? Got to be rocking the Ghostface shirt for this one.
I got to get some more Scream shirts. I only got 2. I think people are tired of looking at the same 2 all the time.
Well, I only have 1, so kudos on you, Dave.
So, man, that last episode that we had, that was pretty fiery.
How many people hated me for the Nightmare on Elm Street? I wonder.
Oh, boy. I can only imagine. That was shocking. So I think Jen's mouth's still on the floor from that episode.
And thank you for sending me that count, by the way. I really laughed, but you know what's funny is if you watch the comments on that count video, everyone's like, I guess Rick and Morty was right. So boom, in both your faces.
Listen, he only said bitch 12 times and there's 7 movies. I don't want to hear about that.
Oh my God, that's more than any other killer ever. Come on, man.
Boy. All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring in our special guest.
How are you?
Thank you for joining us. I'm doing good.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm excited to have another Scream knowledgeable person on our show to dive into some things today. But before we do that, SistaPam, tell us about what you got going on your channel.
I post mostly Scream content. I've been getting into some other horror movies for the Halloween season, but I mostly share Scream theories, and you know, I'm a Stu believer, so my channel focuses on Stu a lot.
Yes.
The Stu train.
Yes.
Now, originally, we were going to do the rankings of the best Ghostface killers, but I think it would have been too similar for us across the board. So we switched it up a little bit. And if this is the first time for you tuning in, how it works is we go from 5 to 1. Our guest goes first. We're talking about our least favorite Scream Ghostface killers. Pam, go ahead.
For number 5, I have Jill. Jill Roberts from Scream.
Wow.
That's it.
Listen, I do love her. I love her as a character. I love her so much. But Charlie did most of the work, right?
Oh, wow.
And she slipped up very easily with Dewey at the end. She gave herself up. She could have gotten away with it if she wasn't so careless. Like I said, I love Jill. I love her. But she's not the best Ghostface.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh.
Her ego kind of was her downfall, but I love her motive. I'm a little stunned that she's on the list.
Listen, like I said, I love her, but she's not the strongest. Charlie did most of the work.
Oh my gosh. We just met, and I'm already, I'm upset already. What? Yes, she did. Yes, he did most of the work, but that's the whole mastermind thing. That's like everyone says that Billy, right? And you're a Stu fan. Everyone's like, well, Billy was the one and bumped Stu. Negatory, my friend. Wow. Oh, that's it. Ooh, SistaPam. Oh, SistaPam.
Sorry. I still got love for Jill. I mean, you're right. It is like the fact that she could have Charlie do all the work for her is pretty great, but you know, she could have done some more of the kills. I don't know.
Yeah, I see it. From that perspective, where she's not getting her hands dirty, it makes sense with my number 2 pick that we'll talk about later. But yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Right here.
I'm sorry.
No
All right,
box,
Daniel.
I've never, ladies and gentlemen, I never walked out on an interview, and I think I made today. Number 5, similar kind of to your viewpoint, I think had the most potential out of any Scream franchise. However, was poorly executed, and that would be Roman. Scream 3 on paper was amazing concept. You have this huge mastermind behind everything. The reason why Billy and Stu happened, everything. It's like, holy shit, this could have been amazing. However, the execution was so poor that it hurt me. And that's why. Especially the fact that he doesn't know Sydney. And then they have this quirky fight at the end. And then they have feelings for each other as brother and sister. It's like, dog, you guys don't know each other. Like, the whole point of your hate was because of her, but yet you have this moment, right?
Yeah.
It's like this entire time you tried to get her killed and all this stuff, but then you have this moment. It was very contradictory to me. Like I said, very, very on paper, could have been the greatest Scream out of all of them, and then it's just trash. So yeah, that's why Roman made my list.
I have to agree with you, and I think when we had Scream 6 came out, the potential was there to elevate him again and make that the most important film in the franchise, and they kind of dropped the ball with that. And yeah, it's just like, it's one of those reels, what? And then the Easter egg sites that are still up there in the archives where you have Roman working with Gale behind the scenes, they dropped that ball too. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't like that him and Sydney didn't really have any scenes. They didn't have any scenes together. So when Sydney sees him, she's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
They should have had at least one scene together.
Yeah.
What could have had the impact of brother and sister the most, and a really messed up twist, is that you have the long lost brother find Sydney, and you have this amazing movie of their building that bond, emotional connection as brother and sister. Ghostface is happening. Oh my god, I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna protect my sister. Blah blah blah. And then just to reveal it was him the entire time. That would have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can have that moment at the end because, she had the feelings for him. And then even though he's sick and twisted, when you're around long enough, somebody, right? Maybe there is something slight there. That would have made way more sense.
The fact that he gave up the opportunity to be a successful director, like, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mrs. Loomis.
That's my number 4.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I just, Mrs. Loomis. It just didn't make any sense. Here, she abandons Billy, and then he gets killed, and then comes back to seek revenge. It's like, why? You didn't care about him before. Why are you coming back now? So it was just, I thought it was kind of cheap.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, Dave. That's what I was going to say. It made no sense of her getting revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Having Mickey, I loved Mickey. I thought, oh shit, the best friend of Sydney, also trying to protect her. Great, amazing. And then it was him. Cool. Yep. But they should have had somebody else, or just for the first time ever have one Ghostface, and it would have been Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like the motive of revenge in general, but like you said, it doesn't really make that much sense since she did like abandon her son, Amber.
Oh,
I'm done with you today, man.
Are you serious?
I'm done with you.
You like Amber? Oh my god.
Yes. I wait until my list and we'll talk about it. Oh.
Listen, I'll admit she has grown on me a bit with a couple rewatches, but she was unsuccessful in killing Chad. She stabbed him a bunch of times in Scream 5 and was unsuccessful. And also, like, unsuccessful in killing Tara in the opening, although I'm not sure if that's actually her. As a Stu believer,
Yep.
Some people think that was Stu. But let's say it was her. She was unsuccessful again. And I don't count the Dewey death for her because I 100% think that's Stu. So she's just unsuccessful in killing her victims. I don't know.
The line, if it was Stu, the line, it's an honor, would not make sense. One. Two, the problem of pre-production is that you should never cast a stunt double that's bigger than your actor or actress.
Yeah, I agree.
These are the things that happen, because now you're like, oh well, this person's bigger and this person's taller, and people look too far into it when it's not it, right?
But it's fun.
But it's fun, right? Yeah. But Amber has the best line out of everybody in all of Scream history. Was
fuck you, Amber. I'm not the fucking killer.
I know. Welcome to Act 3.
Run!
That was a good part.
Come on.
However, I do think that Stu saying it's an honor could make sense because they have history. They go way back. Dewey's a legacy character. So to me, it would make sense for Stu to say it's an honor.
Agree to disagree right now. Oh, SistaPam.
The reason why I wouldn't have Amber on this list is because I like that psychotic approach that she has. The reason why I would put her on the list if she was on my list, which she's not, is because she was a lapdog. You know, Richie, Richie. That kind of annoyed me. The whole, I'm gonna follow you and do whatever you want nonsense is what kind of aggravated me about the character. But I do like. My number 4 is Quinn. Oh. What can I say about Quinn? She is, I think, one of the biggest wannabes in the entire franchise. And I know the writing made her say some of the similar lines. I just thought the fake out death and the nonsense with her, I just, no, don't like her at all. Didn't like the reveal of her. I didn't like her little mini monologue. And she kind of got too emotional at the end. So I would have thought, like, with her getting emotional at the end, it wouldn't have worked with her in some of the kill scenes either. So, no, not a fan of her at all.
Could agree with that.
I get that. My number 3 is Ethan. He was unsuccessful in killing Chad, even with Quinn's help. They tag teamed him and still couldn't even kill him. They stabbed him like 20 times. And I don't know, I just wasn't crazy about the reveal. Like, it was a little over the top, and when he was talking about Chad, like, God, it felt good to kill him. I don't know, it was just like corny to me, and he's just not my favorite.
I could agree with that. I just think this is why I tell Dave that number 6 is my least favorite Scream, is because nobody dies. Nobody important dies.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like, I get it, you know what I mean? But you can't have one incompetent ghost faces, right? You just can't. And then number 2 is that when you don't want to kill off any of your characters, it's not impactful whatsoever. You know, the people that survived in 1, majority of them died in 2. You know what I mean? Dewey was, besides Sydney and Gail, right? Those were the core 3. Or sorry, I get this way. 3 is just like, I get it. But everyone else that's a part of your core characters end up dying. Which again, Gail should have died in the 6th one. So, you know, whatever.
I thought she was a goner.
Yeah, me too, man. Oh. Yeah. But then again, she could be involved in all of it too. You know, she can be involved in the cult and all this other nonsense.
Oh, you think?
David's on that train, boy.
Oh, we'll talk about that after the show and why I think that. Yeah.
Wow.
So Ethan's a good pick. I left him off the list because I didn't want to totally jump all over Scream 6 with everything, but I think it was pretty obvious. Like, you know, it was easily to figure out the first 2 killers with it, and didn't really know if there was a third one. But that whole scene in Central Park where you have them bookending everybody, and the conversation where Quinn and Ethan are kind of just trying to change everything back on the core 4 is like, oh no, is it the 2 of them?
Charlie.
Oh, okay.
Charlie's my number 3.
I saw the
look. I love Charlie.
Nope. I thought. So you try to get a mix of Randy and Stu, but you made him more of a punk than anything. He was a simp for her. You know what I mean? Like, oh baby, I'll do anything for you. Blah, 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 blah. And there's one thing to be madly and crazy in love with someone, kind of like how they hinted with Stu and Billy, right? There's a difference when you're like madly in love with somebody and you're like, yep, I'm your ride and die, I will kill everyone. Then a whiny little simp.
Oh
and
my
to
God.
me,
Wow.
dude, to me, I just could not, bro. I hated his character. I was like, this dude. And then I'm like, all right, you have this guy not really in shape, crying all the time, yada yada, and he can't really, like, he did those kills. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I checked out. That's why when it was revealed to be Jill, I was like, yep, love it. You know what I mean? I love that. But God,
What do you mean he's crying all the time? He only threw a tantrum at the end of the movie when he got interrupted with going to town with Kirby there. That's where he kind of like stomped off like a child.
This thing.
I think that's just his face.
Oh, Jesus.
I think that's just his face in real life.
Well, guess what? Get a different actor. Get a different actor, man, because he ain't doing it. It ain't it, Chief. Tell you that. Yeah. Nope. Like I said, if you had a character that was different, that was madly in love with Jill for real, but wasn't simping for her, but just as crazy as she, I think that would have done better.
Yeah, it's called Amber.
Rather than...
That's who that character was.
But you see, this is why I like Amber.
Yeah.
This is why I like Amber, because Amber fits the bill. However, do I think Amber should have been the one to kill Dewey? Absolutely not. You got a 100-pound girl, wet, right? That's slinging Dewey around, and I'm like, no.
No way.
No. Just saying.
Yeah, I guess that's a good pick. I guess it's a good pick.
Yes.
I'm not 100% on board with that one.
I get where you're coming from, but I love Charlie. You know, he had the most brutal kill with Olivia, whether you believe that he could actually do it or not. And Scream 4 is my favorite Scream sequel, so,
okay.
You know, I love Charlie.
We already talked about this person. It is Roman. He's so high up on my list just because of that element where there was the backstory and the canon that was already developed for Scream 3, where he was working with Gail behind the scenes, and they failed to incorporate on that in 4, 5, and 6. So I thought that they could have utilized that more, made his character that much more important in the 6. And I don't think you can redeem it now. Like some of the things that maybe we'll talk about later is I don't think you can redeem some of the story changes that you did with 6 in 7, because then it'll just feel like a little we're throwing away 6 and it didn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter, but whatever. It's fine.
Oh boy. All right, so Scream 2. Scream 2. So pick number 2. Man, what do you got?
Quinn. Like you said, the whole faking the death thing, just not believable. Like, that was a little ridiculous to me. And again, she was unsuccessful in killing Chad, along with Ethan helping her. And if we're going with the fact that she attacked Gail, unsuccessful there too.
Yep.
Like I said, I believe that was Stu, but you know, let's say that she was the one. She didn't do it. She didn't kill Gail. So one of the weakest in my opinion.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this controversial one?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Number 2, who I despise, especially because of this line in the movie, is Richie.
That's my number 2 too. I hate him.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
so
there's only one character I hate more than Richie. We'll get to that, but yeah, go ahead.
Dude, Richie, oh my God, let me tell you something. The fact that the directors or the writer, whoever put it in there, that said, I know this is disappointing, but it's what's best for the movie, as in super meta, they knew that people were going to be mad at this. I hated it with a freaking passion. One, again, his type of character, okay, he could be psycho, right? But you have this frail ego of a man doing all of this chaos. And it's the same thing as the original. Oh, it's the boyfriend. And it's just like, dude, a requel. They even had the requel rules. It's similar, but different. But it's not different. Why? Because it's the same exact thing as the other ones. The only thing that I love is when Sam stabbed him so many times. My God, that was so satisfying to me. I was like, yes, you go, girl. Oh my God, I just can't with it. And it was so obvious too. Watching all the stab movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's at the hospital. This is when it attacks. Oh, he's here. That's when they attack. I'm like, dude, come on. It's just so freaking obvious that he's definitely it. And I don't know, man. I just hated it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. I love Scream 5. Scream 5, listen, Scream 5 is my favorite sequel. I think is the closest thing that can be great in the Scream franchise. Scream 4 is a close up there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, Jesus, man, like that, if it wasn't him, we had that bond between Amber and Tara. Like, oh, remember she was overprotective of Tara in the beginning and stuff like that. Dude, that would have been so sick if those two were working together as the killers. But then you revealed it's Richie. And I'm like, yeah, no. No.
He is not on my list for everything that you said, because I actually liked the layout and how they delivered all of that stuff. I'm taking Stu out of the equation for now, just thinking that Stu is dead, even though I don't think he is. I'm taking him out of the equation to talk about why I dislike him, right? I like all the things where he's the fanboy and he kind of tries to put all the plans and the schemes together, but I'm going back to SistaPam's point. He doesn't get his hands dirty. Like, he's got this massive ego. He does, it is fragile, but he doesn't get his hands dirty. Who did he kill? Vince? And how does he do it? Right from behind in the neck. It's like, you made Amber do all the heavy work and you're just pulling the strings. And then when you get confronted with the badasses in this film, you break pretty easy. So that's why I don't like him. So there's a character I hate more than him as the Ghostface killer, but I liked how they introduced him in the story. I liked where it was going, and it was just like, oh, okay, you had this person just as almost like a, I don't want to really say it, but he was more of a coward than he was a killer.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but you know me, Dave, I like the mastermind stuff, right? Like, I love someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. I think, like I said, this is why Roman would have been one of my favorites, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're pulling the strings, cool, but I agree with you. If you pull the strings, but yet you're a coward, that throws it off for me. So I agree with that. If you pull the strings and then you're confronted and then you're known as the badass, but you just didn't want to get your hands dirty from, like, getting caught, is a different story, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
I get where you guys are coming from, and he definitely would have made my list if we did more than 5. He's not my favorite, but he did kind of grow on me, like getting more backstory from him in Scream 6. And I do think he had some funny lines in Scream 5, like when Sydney was shooting everything, and he's like, I'm hiding from murderers.
Yeah.
He's grown on me a bit, but not my favorite. My number 1 is Jason. From Scream 6. He kind of said that his motive was that his teacher gave him a C in class. I don't know, and he just got wiped out early. He could have potentially been a good killer, but didn't like his motive that he said on the phone, and he was killed by Bailey. So that Jason didn't even register on my my list when I was thinking about all of them. Some people don't count him as a Ghostface, but I do, because he got a kill in, and he wore the costume, and we saw the unmasking. So I definitely count him as a Ghostface, but he's my least favorite.
So that's actually a good one. The only reason why he didn't make my list, to be honest, is because number 5, when Richie and Amber were talking, they were saying that they found each other on a Reddit group. So then we thought, oh shit, the cult of Ghostface is happening, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw that in the beginning, this is what I thought for 6. I was like, oh shit, we're actually gonna get what we discussed, and we're gonna have a cult of Ghostface, and nobody's gonna really know each other. This is gonna be great, right? However, it didn't turn out that way. Another ball dropped. Like, how are you gonna mention it in the beginning? Because he, he was talking about it, right? And it's just like, well, then that's the glimpse that you get from tying it from part 5. That's it.
They're saving it for Scream 7.
Oh my god. Please don't. Oh, all right.
I like Jason for the reasons that you mentioned, Danny, because it's the cult tie-in. I think we could have did more with it. He's obviously forgettable. I do consider him a Ghostface, but when thinking about this list, it just completely fell off my radar. So yeah, it's a good number 1 because he is forgettable, and possibly over time, that's what's going to happen. He's going to be the least remembered Ghostface.
Oh, I'm breaking rules. You already know. All of the Baileys as the damn killer in number 6. I hated the movie. I hated every single one of them. They're the least competent Ghostface out of everybody. Didn't fool everybody. Dude, and then again, what are we doing? Scream 6 is Scream 2 all over again. You have the freaking... Yeah, well, yeah, you tied in 3, but it's 2 all over again. The revenge motive of the parent of the killer to come and teach them a lesson. Yippee. Dude, not only did you kill nobody in the entire franchise, right? And we can say that's, writing and directing, sure, right? But at the same time, it's the same exact thing. And it goes back with my gripe with 5, even though I do like 5, is like, why are we doing the same things? You're saying it's similar but different. Where's the difference? There's none. Then you come to Scream 6. It's similar but different. No, it's not. It's the same exact thing. And so what are we going to do in Scream 7? Sydney's other brother is going to come in, or sister, right? And then we're going to have Scream 3 all over again? Like, I'm done, dude. Like, I don't want this to continue. I think the best route, like... I don't want them to now finally do the cult, but I think the best route for the franchise is to either you get a new group of people, right? Sydney, where her new life is, she has a new group of people, and then this all happens, right? And it should be different. It can't be the same as everybody else. It just can't. If they do Scream 7 similar to 3 or similar to 4, or even similar to the freaking show that we don't consider a great Scream thing, it's gonna be trash. It's just, no. So
now,
yeah,
the reason,
all 3 of them.
The reason why I think that we've seen 2 and 3 in the last one is because in 3 we had the photos left behind, in 6 we have the mask getting left behind. And my number 1, I'm going to continue right off, is Detective Bailey. Because he was just really obvious throughout the entire movie that it was him. He just looked guilty the entire time. And it's honestly, really the biggest reveal, if you weren't convinced by then, is when he is staring Sam down and saying that he's going to seek revenge for people killing his family. I was like, no, come on. Now you just confirmed it in the middle of the movie. I mentioned this on a few past shows. Like, I was excited for 5 was the first time I was able to ever figure out the killers. And then 6, I was like, oh, wow, now it's just painfully obvious. But the motive at the end and a lot of things just don't add up. And then trying to target Kirby, it's like, what's your real name? I would like to know that. And if it's not Bailey, what is it? And then how did you get a job with the police? And then what's the kid's name? So there's more story to be told there that they didn't explore, and that's what kind of stinks.
Yeah, man. I mean, when they tried to pin it on Kirby, I thought that was way too obvious, right? And then when they were in the theater, I was like, oh, maybe. And you know what's funny? When it gets to Scream now, I get too into my head trying to piece things because I have my own theories. And then when the obvious stuff happens, that's when I'm disappointed. I'm like, yeah, I do better, guys. Do better.
I agree with you. I think it was a little obvious, and that line that he said to Sam, like, when you mess with my family, you die. Like, whatever he said, that just gave it away. I agree. The last name is an issue. Even the creators of the movie, in an interview, admitted that this is an issue, the last name. and faking the dead body. Like, how could he possibly do that? He said, like, you'll be amazed at what a grieving father can get away with. But how did he pull that off? How did he have time? And how did no one realize this was a fake body that they found? I don't know. Scream 6's reveal overall is my least favorite. The three of them together.
Look, I know it's New York, but somebody carrying a carpet folded over somebody's shoulder is going to be noticeable as a body going into a building, you know? Come on.
Yeah.
It was a good list. Some shockers on there. Definitely some shockers, I think. I'm
thought from me, huh? Usually it's from me, but now it's from Pam.
Yeah. She threw me for a loop with a couple of picks. No, sorry, that's her list. Now, do you agree with this list? Let us know by dropping that in the comments. You know, how would you rank your least favorite killers? Drop it in the comments. Do you think Stu's still around? Let us know by dropping that in the comments. And we're going to talk about that on a follow-up episode to this, so be sure to tune in for that. Now, before we do go, Sister Pam, go ahead, plug what you got going
on. You can follow me over on, subscribe to me on YouTube, SistaPam. I'm on Twitter, SistaPam96, TikTok, SistaPam, and Instagram, surprise_SistaPam.
All right. Danny, how about you? Coming back to YouTube very soon, or?
Yeah, guys, so trying to free up my schedule. Basically tired of Disney and Marvel. However, Loki just came out, so I may try to make a triumphant return. But the goal is to, if not by the end of the year, then definitely the beginning of the year of the heel Danny Vega, if you smell what I'm cooking. So just go ahead and follow me on the Danny Vega Show on YouTube, Instagram. So those are my two main sources that I'm on. And yeah, just check out some of my old content. If you love it, just subscribe and, you know, do the chants to the gods that I make a triumphant return soon. So.
All right. So that's it in a nutshell for this list. Remember to drop it in the comments once again. Also, remember, In the Search of Darkness, the new trilogy that's coming out. If you want a discount on the new release, check the description and the link.
These are the times that try men's souls.
Police believe that O.J. Simpson is in that car.
Any requests?
Oh, hi there, Fright Fiend.
There's one near you.
Can you explain what internet is?
The In the Search of Darkness 80s trilogy is complete. But as we all know, horror never dies. The early 90s represented an exciting, challenging, and evolutionary period for horror filmmaking.
Showtime! Are you ready?
In Search of Darkness, 1990 to 1994, will dive into this era and analysis, deconstruct, recontextualize, and reframe this decade in horror.
Through Nerdbox, through the end of 31 Days of Halloween, you will get 10% off of 3 packages by clicking on the link that is in the description. A digital copy, which includes your name in the credits, a copy of the film, and the soundtrack, plus a booklet. Then there is the standard Blu-ray box set, which adds to everything that we talked about with the digital copies, and you get the Blu-ray, 2 posters, a commemorative booklet, and a few more perks. And then finally, the deluxe box set adds a t-shirt.
Come get some.
And do all the fun stuff, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.
See you.